So I went with the very dramatic title. I wasn't sure how dramatic I needed to take it, but we're in a climate crisis, and I think we can't get more dramatic than that. So before we get into it, I'm really interested to see who's in the room. Like, obviously, I can see us all, but what I want is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. This is like, hey, how's it going? Who's out there? So I'm really interested to know what kind of designers are in the room. So I'm going to call out a couple of things, like, do we have researchers in the room? UX researchers? Show of hands. Excellent. Excellent for the researchers. All right. What else do we have in the room? Do we have motion, interaction, game designers in the room? Oh, target market for next year. Do we have anybody who works on physical product? Yeah, hands up. Yeah. And do we have UXers in the room? Okay. What about service designers? Right. Now, this is when the questions get hard. How are you measuring the success of your designs? Right. Has anybody, show of hands in the room, who's heard of the United Nations Sustainability Goals? All right, I'd say that's about 25%, right? So who's heard, are any of you mapping your design work into ESG? Have you heard of ESG? Okay, hands, let's show of hands, come on. Look, who's done research here? Show of hands. Oh, that's very few. Right, so I'm delighted at least half of you have heard of the SDGs. There are some reservations about these being used for KPIs, but we only have 5 minutes. That's a much longer conversation. So in the next 3 to 5 years, all of our lives are going to get mapped into ESG. It's basically how businesses are going to report on sustainability and actually report on it properly as opposed to greenwashing. So my proposition here tonight, I didn't hear it was like a fun night. Somebody told me it was serious. So one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that we have planetary boundaries and we're exceeding them. And if we think of the planetary boundaries like human systems, so if we think about it like vital organs, we have basically busted 6 out of 9 vital organs for the planet. And you can see here, this is stark. This summer, we surpassed the 6th planetary boundary. So Earth scientists in basically have agreed what these are, and we are designing our way to the death of a planet. So this is pretty much the day I made this presentation. And this is what I really want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about how do we use a new type of economic model to think differently about how we design and how we live our lives. So Donut Economics was written by Kate Raworth. It's all about that green space in the middle, the safe, just space for humanity, having an ecological, strong foundation and a social foundation that nobody falls through the shortfall in the middle. QR code for interest, link you directly to the Donut Economics Action Lab, which has great resources on it. In reality, we're carbon focused, carbon blind, monocarbon. That's all I hear people talking about and designing for. These are all the other issues that weave in and out of the ecological and social foundation. Donut Economics offers a new way to think, right? For a lot of designers, some of it isn't new. But basically, Kate Raworth and her team are developing tools that can be used all across the business world, etc. We've got to start asking about the deep design of our enterprises and our business. We're currently in how much value can we extract, full stop, right? Even if you're tweaking a UX button somewhere, it's actually linked to getting people to change. I'm suggesting that human-centered design, who's recognizes themselves as a human-centered designer? Hands up. All right, I'm inviting you to wake for human-centered design. We're going to compost it, and we need to move to relational design. Everything we're doing in the design world produces waste, extracts things that we shouldn't be extracting, everything. The challenge is, as designers, we have a responsibility to build for a dead world or to build for something really different. So my call to action to everybody in the room and everybody you know in the design world is to design differently. Move the human slightly off to the left. Are we going to end up in this kind of world or a wasted dead world? It's up to us. Thanks.